Hi guys, welcome to my study compass. In this video, I'll be walking you through the past paper, Math P2, Variant 2, February March 2019. Let's get started. The temperature at 7 o'clock is -3 degrees Celsius. This temperature is 11 degrees Celsius higher than the temperature at 1 o'clock. Find the temperature at 1 o'clock. We are told the temperature at 7 o'clock, which is -3 degrees Celsius, is 11 degrees Celsius higher than the temperature at 1 o'clock, which we are calling T. This simply means -3 degrees Celsius equals 11 degrees Celsius plus T. When we subtract 11 from both sides, we get T equals -14 degrees Celsius. Jody swims 22 lengths of a swimming pool to raise money for charity. She receives $15 for each length she swims. Calculate how much money Jody raises for charity. To get the total money she raises for charity, we simply multiply 22 by $15, which gives us $330. Write the recurring decimal 0.23 as a fraction. Let's call the recurring decimal x. When we multiply x by 10, this is what we get. And when we multiply x by 100, this is what we get. X and 100x have the exact same pattern after the decimal point. So we carry them to the next step by subtracting x from 100x. This gives us 99x equals 23. When we divide both sides by 99, we get x equals 23 over 99. This cannot be simplified further, and so that will be our final answer. Write 0.046875 correct to two significant figures. The second significant figure is 6. The number after 6, which is 8, is greater than 5. So we add 1 to 6, giving us 7. The numbers after 6 become 0. Since these zeros come after the decimal point, they are insignificant. So we have 0.047 rounded to two significant figures. Write 2,760,000 in standard form. To write this number in standard form, we move the decimal point at the end of the number to a position after the first non-zero digit, which is 2. So we have 2.76. Since we moved the decimal point 6 units to the left, we multiply 2.76 by 10 raised to the power 6. A tourist changes $500 to euros when the exchange rate is 1 euro equals $1.0697. Calculate how many euros he receives. First, we set up the currency conversion to find the equivalent of $500 in euros, which is what we are calling x. When we cross multiply and make x the subject, this is what we get, which is equal to 467.42 euros rounded to two decimal places. The probability that a sweet made in a factory is the wrong shape is 0.0028. One day, the factory makes 25,000 sweets. Calculate the number of sweets that are expected to be the wrong shape. This number is equal to the probability that a sweet made in the factory is in the wrong shape, which is 0.0028 times 25,000. This gives us 70. The bearing of Alexandria from Paris is 128 degrees. Calculate the bearing of Paris from Alexandria. In the illustration, we've indicated the bearing of Alexandria from Paris, which has been given as 128 degrees. And we've also indicated the bearing of Paris from Alexandria, which is what we are finding. These two are interior angles. Interior angles add up to 180 degrees. So to get this angle, we subtract 128 from 180, which gives us 52 degrees. Angles formed at a point add up to 360 degrees. So to get the bearing of Paris from Alexandria, we subtract 52 degrees from 360 degrees, which is equal to 308 degrees. O is the origin. OA equals 2x plus 3y and BA equals x minus 4y. Find the position vector of B in terms of x and y in its simplest form. The position vector of B is the same as vector OB. OB can be expressed as OA plus AB. AB is minus BA. We've been given OA to be 2x plus 3y and we've also been given BA to be x minus 4y. When we expand the brackets, negative 1 times x is negative x. Negative 1 times negative 4y is 4y. When we group like terms, 2x minus x is x and 3y plus 4y is 7y. So we have x plus 7y. Y is directly proportional to x minus 4. When x is 16, y is 3. Find y in terms of x. In mathematical terms, we write y is directly proportional to x minus 4. This can be rewritten as y is equal to a constant which we are going to call k times x minus 4. We need to find k. To get k, we plug in the values of x and y given in the question. This gives us 3 equals k times 16 minus 4. 16 minus 4 is 12. When we divide both sides by 12, we get k equals 1 over 4. Now that we have the value of k, y is equal to 1 over 4 times x minus 4. Calculate the total surface area of the cuboid. Here is the formula for the total surface area of a cuboid. In this case, the length L of the cuboid is 12 centimeters, the width W is 5 centimeters, and the height H is 7.5 centimeters. When we plug in these values into the equation, this is what we get. When we type this into the calculator, we get 375 centimeters squared. The number of passengers on a train increases from 63 to 77. Calculate the percentage increase. The percentage increase is equal to the increase in passengers, which is 77 minus 63, divided by the initial number of passengers, which is 63, times 100%. When we type this into the calculator, we get 22.2%, rounded to 3 significant figures. A cone with height 14.8 centimeters has volume 275 centimeters cubed. Calculate the radius of the cone. We've been given the formula for the volume of a cone to be V equals 1 over 3 pi r squared h. In this case, we are interested in finding the radius r of the cone. So when we make r the subject, this is what we get. The volume V of the cone has been given as 275 centimeters cubed, and the height h of the cone has also been given as 14.8 centimeters. When we type this into the calculator, we get 4.21 centimeters, rounded to 3 significant figures. Factorize 7k squared minus 15k. The terms have a common factor of k. When we factor out k, we are left with 7k minus 15. Factorize 12 times m plus p plus 8 times m plus p squared. The terms have a common factor of 4m plus p. When we factor that out, we are left with 3 plus 2m plus p. 2 times m is 2m. 2 times p is 2p, so we have 4m plus p times 3 plus 2m plus 2p. Eric invests an amount in a bank that pays compound interest at a rate of 2.16% per year. At the end of 5 years, the value of his investment is $6,999.31. Calculate the amount Eric invests. In this case, we need to apply the compound interest formula. We are interested in finding small a, which represents the initial amount Eric invested. Big A represents the final value of his investment, which is $6,999.31. R is the annual rate, which is 2.16%, and T is the time duration, which is 5 years. When we type this into the calculator, we get $6,290.00 rounded to the nearest cent. A, B, and C are points on the circle center O. A, B, and OC intersect at P. Find the value of W. Chord AC subtends an angle of 104 degrees at the center of the circle and subtends angle ABC at the circumference of the circle. So angle ABC would be half of 104 degrees, which is equal to 52 degrees. The sum of the angles in this triangle must add up to 180 degrees. So to get this angle, we subtract the sum of 104 and 21 from 180. Which gives us 55 degrees. Vertically opposite angles are equal. The sum of the angles in this triangle must add up to 180 degrees. So we have W plus 55 plus 52 equals 180. When we make W the subject, we get W equals 73 degrees. By drawing a suitable tangent, estimate the gradient of the curve at the point P. On the grid, we've drawn the tangent to the curve at point P. So now to estimate the gradient, we pick 2 points on the tangent and apply the gradient formula. This gives us 2 minus 1 divided by 0 minus 2, which is equal to negative 0.5. Find the value of n when 5 raised to the power n equals 1 over 125. 125 can be written as a power of 5, which is 5 cubed. 1 over 5 cubed can be written as 5 raised to the power negative 3. Now that the bases on both sides of the equation are equal, then their powers must also be equal. So n is equal to negative 3. Simplify 64 over m cubed, all raised to the power negative 1 over 3. By applying the laws of indices, this can be rewritten as 64, which is 4 cubed, raised to the power negative 1 over 3, divided by m cubed, raised to the power negative 1 over 3. The powers of the terms multiply. So for the numerator, 3 times negative 1 over 3 is negative 1. And for the denominator, 3 times negative 1 over 3 is negative 1. 4 raised to the power negative 1 can be written as 1 over 4. And 1 over m raised to the power negative 1 can be written as m. So we have m over 4. A pipe is full of water. The cross-section of the pipe is a circle radius 2.6 centimeters. Water flows through the pipe into a tank at a speed of 12 centimeters per second. Calculate the number of liters that flow into the tank in 1 hour. The volume of water that flows into the tank can be calculated using this formula. The volume flow rate is equal to the cross-sectional area of the pipe times the linear flow rate or the speed of the water. The cross-sectional area of the pipe can be found using pi r squared, where the radius r of the pipe is 2.6 centimeters and the linear flow rate has been given as 12 centimeters per second. The time t is 1 hour, which we convert to seconds by multiplying 1 by 3600. When we type this into the calculator, this is what we get. To convert this to liters, we divide by 1000. This gives us 917 liters, rounded to 3 significant figures. Simplify AB minus B squared over A squared minus B squared. For the numerator, the terms have a common factor of B. When we factor out B, we are left with A minus B. By applying the factorization for the difference of two squares, we can rewrite the denominator as a plus b times a minus b. A minus b cancels out, so we are left with b over a plus b. Work out 2, 4, negative 1, 3 times 1, negative 5, 6, 4. Since the two matrices are 2 by 2, the resulting matrix would also be 2 by 2. To get the elements in this position, we multiply the elements in row 1 of the first matrix with the elements in column 1 of the second matrix. So 2 times 1 plus negative 1 times negative 5 gives us 7. To get the elements in this position, we multiply the elements in row 2 of the first matrix with the elements in column 1 of the second matrix. So 4 times 1 plus 3 times negative 5 gives us negative 11. To get the elements in this position, we multiply the elements in row 1 of the first matrix with the elements in column 2 of the second matrix. So 2 times 6 plus negative 1 times 4 gives us 8. To get the elements in this position, we multiply the elements in row 2 of the first matrix with the elements in column 2 of the second matrix. So 4 times 6 plus 3 times 4 gives us 36. So we have 7, negative 11, 8, 36. Find the value of x when the determinant of 3, negative 7, negative 1x is 5. To get the determinant of the given matrix, we subtract the product of the minor diagonal, which is negative 1 times negative 7, from the product of the major diagonal, which is 3x. This is equal to 5. Negative 1 times negative 7 is 7. When we add 7 to both sides, we get 3x equals 12. And when we divide both sides by 3, we get x equals 4. Without using a calculator, work out 3/1 over 8 divided by 5 over 12. You must show all your working and give your answer as a mixed number in its simplest form. First, we convert the mixed fraction 3/1 over 8 into an improper fraction. So 8 times 3 plus 1 is 25, which we divide by 8. In the next step, we have 25 over 8. Then we replace the division with multiplication. Then we bring in the reciprocal of 5 over 12, which is 12 over 5. 5 goes into itself one time and goes into 25 5 times. 4 goes into 12 3 times and goes into 8 2 times. So for the numerator, 5 times 3 is 15, and for the denominator, 2 times 1 is 2. 15 over 2 is an improper fraction, so we need to convert it into a mixed fraction. 2 goes into 15 7 times with a remainder of 1, which we divide by 2. So we have 7 1 over 2. The speed time graph shows the first 50 seconds of a journey. Calculate the acceleration during the first 15 seconds. To get the acceleration, we simply find the slope of the graph during the first 15 seconds. This gives us 25 minus 0 meters per second divided by 15 minus 0 seconds. When we type this into the calculator, we get 1.67 meters per second squared, rounded to 3 significant figures. Calculate the distance traveled in the 50 seconds. The distance traveled is the area under the graph, which is in the shape of a trapezium. Here is the formula for the area of a trapezium. From the graph, we get A to be 35, B to be 50, and H to be 25. When we type this into the calculator, we get 1062.5 meters. A is the point 23 and B is the point 7 negative 5. Find the coordinates of the midpoint of AB. To get the midpoint of AB, we apply the midpoint formula. So for the x coordinate of the midpoint, we have 2 plus 7 divided by 2, which is 4.5. And for the y-coordinate, we have 3 plus negative 5 divided by 2, which is negative 1. Find the equation of the line through A that is perpendicular to AB. Give your answer in the form y equals mx plus c. All we need to do is find the values of m and c and plug in these values into y equals mx plus c. First, let's find the gradient of line AB by applying the gradient formula. This gives us 3 minus negative 5 divided by 2 minus 7, which is equal to negative 8 over 5. The product of the gradients of line AB and the line perpendicular to AB must be equal to negative 1. This gives us the gradient of the perpendicular line to be 5 over 8. We've been told the perpendicular line passes through point A. So to get C, we plug in the value of m and the coordinate of A into y equals mx plus c. This gives us 3 equals 5 over 8 times 2 plus c. 5 over 8 times 2 is 5 over 4. When we subtract 5 over 4 from both sides, we get c equals 7 over 4. So we have y equals 5 over 8x plus 7 over 4. Calculate SR. To get SR, we apply the sine rule to triangle PRS. This gives us SR over sine 53 degrees equals 7.4 centimeters over sine 97 degrees. When we make SR the subject, this is what we have. When we type this into the calculator, we get 5.95 centimeters rounded to 3 significant figures. Calculate RQ. To get RQ, we apply the cosine rule to triangle PQR, and this is what we get. PR is 7.4 centimeters, PQ is 8.5 centimeters, and angle QPR is 26 degrees. When we plug in these values into the equation and make RQ the subject, this is what we have. When we type this into the calculator, we get 3.73 centimeters rounded to 3 significant figures. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video useful. See you in the next video. Bye guys.